Alright, so for number 1A, well, for number 1, you have to plot the points, draw the line, and then find the slope. So you can see from the graph that the line is going to end up with a positive slope because as you go from left to right, the line is going up. So we're expecting a value here that is positive. So I've got difference in the y's divided by difference in the x's. You choose if you want this point to be your x1, y1 or this one to be your x1, y1. It's completely up to you. So I'll just do difference in the y's. I'll pick 2 minus a negative 3. Okay, and because I started with this y, then in my denominator I have to start with this x. Okay, I can't switch them. So if I start with this y, I have to start with this x. So I've got 5 minus 1. And so I get 2 minus a negative 3 is 2 plus 3. That's 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. And yes, I get a positive slope. Okay, for letter B, you can see it's a vertical line, so the slope is going to be undefined. So when you put it into the formula, you end up with, let's see, 10 minus a negative 2 divided by 6 minus 6. So 10 minus negative 2 is 12 over 0, which is undefined. For letter C, we have a horizontal line, so we're expecting a slope of 0. Okay, so again, difference in the y's. That would be negative 2 minus a negative 2 divided by difference in the x's, 1 minus 5. So that's negative 2 plus 2, so that's 0 over negative 4. And so the slope is 0. Okay, so for letter D, the points were given in a table, so you can leave them like that, or you could change them as ordered pairs. Okay, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I plotted the points, and you could see that the slope is going to be a negative slope because the line is going down from left to right. So the slope would be change in the y divided by change in the x, and it doesn't matter which 2 points you pick. I'll show you all 3. So if we start with these 2, you end up with 1 minus negative 3 divided by 3 minus 5. So that's going to be 4 over negative 2, which is negative 2. Okay, so it checked out. It's a negative slope. If you choose these 2 points, then it would be, again, the order doesn't matter as long as you stay. If I start with negative 13, I have to start with 10 in the bottom, the denominator. So negative 13 minus negative 3 divided by 10 minus 5. So I get negative 10, right? Negative 13 plus 3 divided by 5, which is negative 2. Or if you pick the first one and the last one, doesn't matter. That would be negative 13 minus 1 divided by 10 minus 3, right? So I get negative 14 over 7, which again, negative 2. So you're being asked to find the slope and y-intercept. Remember, the easiest way to do that is to convert the equation into slope-intercept form, mx plus b, which means that we have to solve for y. We have to isolate the y right here, right? So first thing we're going to do is subtract 3x. So I get negative 2y equals, and I'm going to write the x first just to follow this pattern, negative 3x plus 7. Then I'm dividing by negative 2. That becomes 1. So y equals, a negative divided by a negative is positive. Positive divided by a negative is negative. And I end up with this. So the slope is positive 3/2. And the y-intercept is negative 7/2. So remember, that's the b. And remember, this is the slope. So for number 3, you're given a slope and a point. The point is right here, negative 3/4, and the slope is negative 2/5. Because the slope is negative, we know that it's going to come down this way, right? Now you have two choices. You can either go down to right 5, or you can think of it as positive 2 over negative 5, where you go up 2 and to the left 5. Okay, so I'll do both. I'll go down 2 and then right 5, which would land right here, or you can go up 2 and left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here at where the division bar is, and then we connect our line, or connect the points. So something like this. Okay, so now we're going to write the equation of the line. So because I have a point and a slope, I'm going to start off with point-slope form, which is the y minus y sub 1, and y sub 1 in this case is 4, equals the slope times the quantity of x minus x sub 1. So x sub 1 is negative 3. So let me simplify that. We get y minus 4 equals negative 2/5 times the quantity of x plus 3. So if they're asking for point-slope form, this would be your answer. Okay? If they want slope-intercept form, that means we have to solve for y, right? So I'm going to distribute the negative 2/5 here, and then the negative 4, this one right here, I'm going to move it to the other side. So I'm going to have negative 4 equals, distribute the negative 2/5, like that. I'm going to add 4. So now I need a common denominator, right? So a common denominator between 1 and 5 is 5. So this 4 over 1 becomes 20 over 5. That's still 4. And so you get y equals negative 2/5 x plus 20 minus 6 is 14/5. And that would be the equation in slope-intercept form. Now in general form, okay, we're going to move the negative 2/5 x, this term, we're going to move it over to the left side, so it becomes positive, right? So 2/5 x plus y and equals 14/5. Now it's common practice to get rid of all fractions, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. And when you distribute here, you get 2x plus 5y. On the right side, you get 14, because the 5 over 5 is 1. So that's the general form right there. So when the slope is 0, you know that it's a horizontal line. So there's a graph, and it's going over negative 3, 4. And so this equation is simply y equals 4. And that's all there is to that one. For letter C, I forgot to write down the letter. For letter C, the slope is undefined, and so you know that this is just simply going to be an x equals negative 3 equation. So for number 3D, the slope is positive 2, so we know the line is going to go up from left to right. I can write 2 as a fraction, 2 over 1, and I could also write it as negative 2 over negative 1, right? That's still positive 2. So when I use positive 2 over positive 1, I'm going to go rise up, right 1. So from negative 3, 4, I'm going to go up to right 1, so I'm going to land right there. And when I use negative 2 over negative 1, when I use this combination, from this point right here, I'm going to go down to left 1, so it's going to be right there. Okay, so the points are all straight line, like that. And the slope is positive, right? I'm going to write it in point-slope form first. And the reason I would choose that is because I have a point and I have a slope. So y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. So this becomes y minus 4 equals 2 times the quantity of x plus 3. So this is the equation of that line in point-slope form. To change it to slope-intercept form, we're going to solve for y. Okay, we're going to isolate the y and distribute the 2. So I'm going to distribute the 2 here and here. So y minus 4 equals 2x plus 6. Now I add 4, and so I end up with y equals 2x plus 10. And that's my equation in slope-intercept form. For general form, I just have to move this 2x over to the left side, and this will be general form, negative 2x plus y equals 10. It's common practice for the leading term, in this case the x, to be positive. So I'm going to go through and multiply everything, every term by negative 1 on both sides of the equation. So I end up with 2x minus y equals negative 10. And so that would be the answer in general form.